A judge seconds ago just ruling on whether former President Trump should be kicked off the ballot in the state of Colorado. Judge Sarah Rallis deciding that Trump is eligible to run for president even after his role in the January 6th insurrection. A group of voters had filed a lawsuit, and this was based specifically on the 14th Amendment. They argued that that amendment would bar Trump from federal office. A judge, though, ruling the other way. As I said just seconds ago, a team of reporters standing by to go through the details on this breaking news as we get it. Lucy.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So you guys, we've all been following very, very closely the insane leftist attempts to take away your right to vote. And, you know, the left, they want to cry voter suppression, voter intimidation, voter this and voter that. It's their go-to move. It's one of their biggest moves. While at the same time, they're the ones actively trying to take Donald Trump off of the ballot state by state. State by state, they're trying to take away the citizens' right to choose their candidate. Now, there was a decision made by a very liberal judge in Colorado that kept him on the ballot. But there are rumors, there are experts saying that this is actually a bad thing. And I'll get into that in just a moment. But guys, first, thanks so much to everyone that's been subscribing and leaving such great comments. Really do appreciate the support. If you haven't already, help us to continue to grow. Like, comment, subscribe, most importantly, share the channel. So there was a legal expert on MSNBC, which of course tells you about everything you need to know, probably, about the quality of their expertise. But there was a guy on MSNBC, like I said, take that as you will, do with it as you must, that says this judge's decision and the way that it was decided is actually very, very bad for President Donald Trump. So this activist judge, she knew enough to know that she didn't want to get overturned on appeal and that she had really no legal grounds to take the man off of the ballot. But in deciding her decision, she included language that said that she did believe and she did find that he was guilty of committing an insurrection. Although he was not charged with an insurrection, and he wasn't charged actually with anything at all before her court, which is strange because he's charged in just about every other court. And, you know, now to me, this is just a judge who is trying to keep at bay the woke revolutionary and the cancel culture army. Keep her off her back. I don't know. That's just what it feels like to me. But this expert shows up with Jen Psaki, who's always known to be a very, very, very fair and very balanced individual. And he's got a little bit different takes. So look at this.
Please walk us through kind of what could happen from here.
Yeah, so I do argue appeals for a living, and I lived part of the year in Colorado, so I'm very familiar with the Colorado Supreme Court. And, you know, I think, Andrew, and you have got it exactly right. If I were to put the headline on Friday night as an appeals lawyer, it would be, this is the very worst decision Donald Trump could get from the trial court, because it's going to go on appeal to the Colorado Supreme Court, perhaps the U.S. Supreme Court, and there Trump is going to face extreme headwinds. And the reason for that is the factual there's two parts, as Andrew says. There's the factual finding that the judge said, which is Trump committed insurrection. And then there's a legal part that the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to the office of the presidency. And on appeals, Jen, the factual findings get massive deference by the appeals court. It's almost impossible to overturn a trial judge's factual finding. You can overturn the legal findings because that's basically a fresh look at the legal thing. And here this judge factually made devastating findings against Trump and then looked at this legal technicality, which was, well, the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to the office of the president, which is so weak, even the judge themselves admitted that would be preposterous. And the reason for that is that there are other parts of the Constitution that say that the president is an office holder of the United States, which is kind of obvious. And the text, and the part you didn't bold when you flashed the 14th Amendment, says it applies to, quote, any office, civil or military, under the United States, as long as you've taken an oath. And of course, the president does take an oath. And it would be an insane reading otherwise. It would mean Jefferson Davis or Robert E. Lee could have run for the presidency in 1868. That cannot possibly be the law. And I don't think that it will command a majority of the Colorado Supreme Court or certainly the United States Supreme Court.
So you've argued a lot of cases before the Supreme Court. Would you take this case?
Yeah, so you guys see that. I completely disagree. And I'm sure plenty of credible legal experts would tell you that that guy is completely wrong. I'm sure he's very experienced. I'm sure he knows Colorado law, like he says. But that doesn't change the fact that this judge's basically unhinged words are not a true factual finding. And the words of one trial judge is very unlikely to influence any appellate court, and it's definitely not going to influence any state or federal Supreme Court. And no matter what angle they want to look at it from, it does not put the office of presidency among the list of the offices and stations that are actually listed in the 14th Amendment, Section 3, which, if you're not at all familiar with our founding, and even more important than that, our actual founders, the fact that it was not listed is not some sort of omission. That is done on purpose and by design. Now, I'm not here to pretend that I can explain to you what the design was. I have no idea. And you know who also does not have any idea? The United States Supreme Court has no idea what the founders intended, but they do know what the founders wrote. And they will uphold every word and every spirit of everything that the founders wrote in our Constitution. There's no doubt about that. But anyway, that's just my take. The 14th Amendment is a fantasy that just refuses to die for the leftists. Let me know what you guys think of that. Let me know what you think of this video. And guys, do me a favor, if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.